Pardon the interruption, but I'm Mike Wilbon. It's great to be back. I missed our viewers.
I'm Tony Kornheiser. They're not here. We're on ESPN too.
Oh, you think they can't find us because you got rabbit ears at your house, Ralph Cramden?
No, they can find us. I'm not sure they want to find us. That's the part I'm
bad.
saying. I don't know if they want to.
Bad.
Maybe they do, maybe they don't. Welcome to PTI, boys and girls. In today's episode, the Brewers pass the Cubs and Caleb Williams gets subbed out, which makes it a tough day for the return of the man we have all been missing, Mr. Michael Wilbon. All right. But we begin today with another setback at quarterback for the New York Jets. No, not Aaron Rodgers. He's gone. This time it's Justin Fields, who was carted off the practice field, later diagnosed with a dislocated toe on his right foot, his plant foot. The Jets are listing Fields as day-to-day and expect him to be ready to go week one. Fields is a running quarterback, so a dislocated toe may mean more to Fields than to a pocket quarterback like Tom Brady. Wilbon, you love Fields. How concerning should this injury be to the Jets?
Well, they should be concerned anytime your starting quarterback has a leg injury and a foot injury, and as you mentioned, a guy who can run for 1,000 yards like Justin Fields, but he's still young. What is Fields now? Maybe 26-ish. And he's still athletic, and he still probably can get over this more quickly than, say, Aaron Rodgers, who's 438 years old, who you mentioned earlier. And so, yeah, Tony, look, it's July. Can we pipe down? People are healthy now, and they declare players healthy now, as if there's not week 1, and week 2, and week 8, and week 11. Players, particularly in football, get hurt. That's what happens. You don't want to start that way with Justin Fields and the Jets, your franchise of your youth who seem cursed. But let's just pipe down and see where it goes, and day-to-day means day-to-day.
So I had a doctor's appointment this morning, and so I was incommunicado. When I got out, I looked at my phone. I had a text from my friend Adam. This is the extent of the text. I'm quoting it. Jets are cursed. It just doesn't stop. I had no idea, Mike, what he was talking about. Obviously, I do now. But I think that sentiment is shared by Jets fans all over, that they're a cursed team.
Yeah.
You know, you don't want to have a dislocated toe when you use your feet to run and move around because you're that kind of quarterback. You obviously don't want to have something like that because there's no DH in football. You can't slide to another position. You got to be a quarterback. That's what you are. I am imagining, Mike, that if it's less significant if you're an offensive guard. You know, you can live with the fact that one of your toes is broken. It's more significant, obviously, when you're a quarterback. And for those old enough to remember, and you are, and I am, and not many others, the great Dizzy Dean basically lost his career as a pitcher because of a broken toe. He had won 30 games a year or two before, broke a toe, and was essentially done. I don't think that's going to happen here. I think that Fields is going to be fine. But, Mike, if you're a Jets fan, and you remember just a couple of years ago, Aaron Rodgers, four plays, and he's out for the year. And you see a guy being carted off, you think you're cursed. You do. You think you're cursed.
Tony, carted off might be the most serious one. But it might have been a precaution. And there's so much you just don't know. And you're right. I love Justin Fields in any uniform. I hope he gets healthy quickly. Let's move to Dan Lanning's suggestion to improve college football. The Oregon coach tells Yahoo that there's too much time between the end of the regular season and the beginning of the college football playoff. He'd like to condense things by starting the season a week sooner and the playoff the first or second week of December. Oregon had a 25-day layoff with its playoff bye last season and lost. Tone, do you see this suggestion as smart or self-serving?
Well, I see it as both. I think it's smart. I think it's self-interested. I mean, again, he's got a team at Oregon that gets a bye and gets blown out, and he sees that the 4 teams that got byes, they all lost. So, you know, that's a very small sample size because it's the first year of the playoffs. So it may turn out that that's just superstitious and not just self-interested if 5 years from now the teams with the byes don't get blown out. But I do think it's smart to start the season early, to end the season early, to be like golf, to avoid the pillaging and marauding NFL. because the NFL will schedule right opposite you. They will try to ruin your life because they're the NFL. They have obliterated the NBA from Christmas Day. So, yeah, if you can do that, yeah, it's smart, which leads me to this, Mike. If it's smart, they won't do it in college football. Because people who run college football, they're not smart. Because smart people would have anticipated NIL and the transfer portal and had a better plan to cope with it.
Yeah. Well, Tony, I would slide the season too, but not the way Lanning is going to do it. And I thought of this weeks ago and actually talked to some people in college football about it. Start the season later. You're not going to, if I'm college football, I'm not going to give up December. You can schedule with the NFL. The day is long. Everybody has lights. It's not 1930 in Wrigley Field. You schedule games in concert with the NFL, so not to butt heads with them. And that takes, yes, our bosses, because ESPN and the folks at Fox, it's the same people. The partners are the partners in large part. So start the season later, start it in September, Labor Day or later, Tony, and then stop giving away the Army-Navy week. You can't do that. And the Heisman week, you can't do that. You got to use those weeks for your games and not just have a day to watch I Love Lucy reruns. So you're going to have to, Mike, better scheduling.
If you do that, you got to be willing to go on a weeknight. You have to avoid the NFL.
Monday
you
anyway.
have to be willing to go on weeknight. Well, you can do
Monday
Tuesday, you can do Wednesday. They're college kids. They're not going to class. They're professional athletes. Let's stop kidding yourself. Let's move to baseball. After wins yesterday, the Mets and Brewers are now in possession of first place in their divisions. The Mets passed the Phillies, who lost last night to the Red Sox, and the Brewers passed the Cubs, who lost to the Kansas City Royals. Wilbon, which team should be more concerned, the Phillies or your Cubs?
Well, Tony, the Cubs, and by the way, I know you're trying to get my goat. The Cubs and Brewers have swapped places for 3 days in a row. So let's not get crazy. They didn't just pass them yesterday. They've been hot for a long time, as you noted, before I even went away for a few-day hiatus.
Yep.
But it's the Cubs. The Phillies are a veteran playoff team. They have a sense of who they are, what's going on all around them, what they can get out of certain people as we get down the stretch, Bryce Harper in August, and they're a veteran team. The Cubs are not that. The Cubs are new to this stage. This is not the 2015, 16, 17, 18, 19 Cubs. Whole new team with no holdovers, and they got to go out and get at least one starting pitcher, and if they can get a bat at third base, Suarez, even though our rookie is playing pretty well, the Cubs need to do those things. Jed Hoyer will have to do that, Tony. And even then, the Cubs won't know. And they're in just a killer division, not just with the Brewers, but the Cardinals are not done. Cincinnati's not even done. And everybody's up against each other in the wild card. Yeah. So the answer to that is the Cubs.
I'm going to differ slightly because I'm going to say that neither the Cubs nor the Phillies give me particular concern. I don't think it's possible that Milwaukee can sustain the heater that it has been on for a while. They've won 12 out of 13, 36 out of 49. That's the best in baseball. I'm not saying they peaked too soon. I'm just saying I don't think they can keep that up. So to me, if the Cubs play the way they've been playing, they're going to go in and out of first place as well. And if I'm not mistaken, they have 3 games in a row in Milwaukee next week. So it's on their rackets. They have a chance to get back into first place and do some damage there. I agree with you about the Phillies. The Phillies are a better team than the Mets. The Phillies have better starting pitching than Mets. And ultimately, starting pitching is the most important thing that you can have going near the playoffs. That game last night was sort of fluky. The Phillies were up 5-0, looking to sweep Boston. They lose 9, 8, and 11. Mike, how many times is a team going to get 9 runs from the 5th on? So I think they're both in good shape. I do. I wouldn't. And they're playoff teams.
Hope you're right.
They're certainly playoff teams.
I want you to be right.
Let's take a break. Coming up, should we expect a better second season out of Jaden Daniels or out of Caleb Williams?
And the Steelers will be wearing some real questionable throwbacks, but will the Packers be wearing worse? Damn cheeseheads.
Whose idea is throwbacks? Next. Do you like throwbacks? Sometimes I do, but often I don't.
It depends on what they
Often
do. There are few, very few marketing people, you know.
It's time for toss-up. Two men enter, one man leaves, finishes the show, then faces a forlorn Friday without work and wonders whether he's used his craft as an escape from emotional intimacy with those who love him. But he also looks forward to watching the Nats and the Twins. What's first?
Toss-up. Which quarterback do you expect more from this season? Jaden Daniels or Caleb Williams?
Okay, well, certainly the Bears expect more from Caleb Williams. As we talked about yesterday on the show, they are expecting 4,000 passing yards and a 70% completion record. As you know, Mike, the Bears have been in business for over 100 years. Not one time have they had 4,000 yards from a quarterback. Not one time have they had a 70% completion record from a quarterback. So good luck on that. Jaden Daniels was better last year as a rookie than Caleb Williams was. He won the Rookie of the Year over Caleb Williams. He passed for almost 3,600 yards and had 69% completion record. I think it's going to hurt him if Terry McLaurin isn't there. I also think that will probably be resolved. So if you're asking me to answer this question, I'm going to say Caleb Williams because I think there's greater movement up for him that's possible than Jaden Daniels. And I also think, Mike, the league has had a year to look at Jaden Daniels, and they're going to come up with specialized defenses for Jaden Daniels. If the next question is who would you rather have, I would still take Jaden Daniels, but it's by a very thin margin.
Jaden Daniels is going to be hard for him to have a better year than he had last year. You mentioned what he had. Let me just see C.J. Stroud on this, who was great as a rookie and had some backsliding. Because everybody almost has some backsliding even after a great rookie year. And even the people who played football, who are all on the airways, act like they don't know this. And they just want to go with the analytics and a forward projection. Stop. Jaden Daniels likely to not have as good a year. And he might be better. He might be the MVP, but not likely. Caleb Williams, and people once again, you talk about 4,000 yards. Caleb Williams, with no offensive line and no coaching to speak of, threw for 3,500 yards last year. Two better games, he'd have gotten to 4,000 with, let me say it again, no coaching and no line. He has a dramatically improved line. He has weapons, and he's a coach who threw the first team out of practice. Good. That's what he ought to do. Thank you, Ben Johnson. It's called getting better. It's called coaching. That's what Caleb Williams is going to have the benefit of this year. I don't care whether he throws for 4,000 yards. I want the team to get better and him to get better. He will, and they will.
What's next?
Toss up worst throwback uniforms, the Steelers or the Packers?
Okay, so I don't know how many people have seen these. I'm sure that everyone is going to see them now. They're both terrible uniforms. You cannot put the Steelers in canary yellow jerseys. You have to have some black in those jerseys. That's what people associate with the Steelers. And that thing, that design on the front chest of the Steelers throwback uniforms, it looks like they have a backpack strapped to their chest. It's a very odd-looking thing. Now, I will also tell you the Packers is worse for this particular reason. It's blue. It looks like the University of Pittsburgh. The Packers are green. What are you throwing back to blue for? On the other hand, I do like the helmets because the helmets are designed to look like old-time leather helmets, and to me, that is creative. Whereas what the Steelers have done is they've taken their contemporary logo and slapped it on the back of the helmet. So it's not a throwback. They didn't have that logo in the 20s or 30s or 40s or 50s or 60s. You can't actually do that. That feels like cheating to me.
Tony, you have me come back today off a little mini break, and you get me screaming about the Brewers. You start the show with one set of cheeseheads. Then you include the Packers, the real cheeseheads. I'm going to recuse myself there. I'm not going to recuse myself from attacking the marketing people at 345 Park Avenue in New York, because they all should be fired. All of them.
Really?
Anybody who came up with throwbacks for teams like Steelers, Packers, Bears, Giants, whatever Washington is, teams that are 100 years old, they don't need throwbacks. They sell enough jerseys. It's a disgraceful money grab by the NFL, which, they need more money to sell more jerseys to be like the NBA, who you talked about them crushing on Christmas Day, but yet they're imitating the NBA. Let's have more jerseys. They both look like garbage. You want to do something nice with leather? Then wear the leather helmets. Put the leather helmets, cover the real helmets in leather, and wear those. Marketing people,
it's really nice
get
to
out.
see.
Get out.
It's really nice to see that your time away has mellowed you and calmed you down and given you the perspective to look at the things you've said before and perhaps
you
back
threw raw
away a
meat
little
in
bit.
front of me. That's what you did.
That's it. Let's take one last break. Still to come, Dan Campbell ends Lions practice early for the second time this week, and we will tell you why.
And Bill Belichick, your boy, was at the podium today. Did he have anything intriguing to offer up? Throwback.
Like this jacket,
Packers
this is a
and
new
Steelers.
jacket.
Really?
This is not a throwback
Really?
jacket. This is new. This is new. Do you like it? What do you think?
What's a throwback jacket?
I'm saying this is a new jacket. I got a new jacket, not a throwback jacket. Do you like it?
Oh, I was going to say, yeah, I do. You've had lots of new
Oh,
jackets. New to me.
Welcome.
Happy time, people. Happy 24th birthday, Drake London. The Falcons' wide receiver was the 8th overall pick in the 2022 draft out of USC. London had gone to USC to play both football and basketball, where he played one season as a reserve. Last season, London caught 100 passes for 1,271 yards and 9 touchdowns. In 3 seasons with the Falcons, being thrown to by 5 different quarterbacks, Marcus Mariota, Desmond Ridder, Taylor Heineke, Kirk Cousins, and Michael Penix Jr., London has 241 catches for just over 3,000 yards and 15 touchdowns. This season, Penix will be the primary quarterback as the Falcons move away from Cousins.
Do you think Penix is going to really establish himself and just leave Cousins in the dust to be released or traded? You think Penix is that good and going to have that kind of early fall, Tony?
I think he's going to get that chance. I mean, I think they're going to give him a long leash on that and get that chance. I do. Happy anniversary to Alex Rodriguez and Jason Varitek. On this day 21 years ago, A-Rod reacted to being hit by a pitch from Bronson Arroyo by jawing at the mound. Varitek stepped in front of A-Rod and shoved his mitt in A-Rod's face, setting off yet another bench-clearing Yankees-Red Sox brawl. After this, the game turned into an epic. The Yankees were up 3-0 when the brawl occurred, but an explosion of big innings culminated with the Red Sox walking off Mariano Rivera 11-10 after a Bill Miller 2-run homer. This was one of only 4 blown saves by Rivera that year, when he led all of baseball with 53 saves. Of course, the Red Sox came back from 0-3 in the playoffs against the Yankees, and they took down Rivera there as well.
I mean, to those of us off of I-95 a little bit, Tony, it's what happened in October. That's all that I remember from 2004 with the Yankees Red Sox. I don't remember that whole thing with A-Rod. I'll try to bring it up with him the next time, I'm hanging out in Minneapolis and we're with his basketball team, the Timberwolves. Didn't remember that at all. So I guess that's a good trip down memory lane for some people.
Here's what you should ask him. How did the mitt taste? Ask him that. I'll bet he remembers it. We should note the passing of Hulk Hogan at the age of 71. Hogan, whose real name was Terry Bollea, was the biggest pro wrestling star of the 1980s and beyond. Even non-fans knew Hogan by his golden hair, horseshoe mustache, and shirts that he would invariably tear off. A heel turn eventually followed, and in 2015, the WWE fired Hogan following the leak of an audio tape in which he used the N-word, though the organization later brought him back as an ambassador. That same year, Hogan also won a huge judgment against Gawker, which had published a sex tape featuring him.
Yeah, Tony, that was after my wrestling obsession of the 1960s and 70s when I was a kid. And it seemed to me that Hogan completely ripped off a guy named Billy Superstar Graham, who you'd know if you were a wrestling fan of like the AWA. And then Hogan later in his years, as you mentioned, got involved with some stuff that seemed unsavory at best. So, not really a fan, but I understand he held a large position in wrestling when people obsessed over it, like you said, the 80s and beyond.
I will tell you this, I'm making no value judgments about what he has done, good or bad. But when he walked down the street, he's one of the 5 most recognizable people in the entire country. Hulk Hogan. Everybody knew what he looked like. Everybody had a sense of him. Let's go to the big finish. Dan Campbell ended Lions practice early due to several scuffles. Is that significant?
Not in the least. Bill Belichick spoke at ACC Media Day today. Your takeaway?
My takeaway is that he's going to coach North Carolina, that all this other stuff is irrelevant at the moment, and he's going to be the biggest story in college football. The Rockies beat the Cardinals in Colorado's first shutout in 221 games. You impressed?
Seems like teams get shut out twice a week in the rest of the league, and Colorado's not on the short end or on the good end of any long end. It's a long streak. Aces fever tonight. Caitlin Clark out, still no timetable for her return. Your thoughts?
She's the biggest star in the league, and she's on the show. Biggest star by far. Last one, Venus Williams goes for a second straight win at the D.C. Open. Do you like her chances?
Not really against this ranked player. If I was there, I'd go see. I want to see Venus Williams play while you still can. And Raducanu beat Osaka today. I love going to that tournament. I'd have been begging Mark Ein for some good seats if I was at home.
We are out of time. We will try to do better the next time. I'm Tony Kornheiser.
I'm Mike Wilbon. Off till Monday, knuckleheads. Now, SportsCenter.
PTI. On UNC, here's Tony and Mike with PTI's bonus topic.
All right, Wilbon, what is your interest level in Bill Belichick and the North Carolina Tar Heels this season?
Very high, Tony. I think for the first few weeks, and it may wane. If the Tar Heels go 2-3, 1-2 even, I'm going to have less interest. This starts off, though, maybe replacing what some of us had found in Colorado with Deion.
100%.
That was
100%.
such a exciting thing to have at the beginning of college football season. And then they won enough games and they played enough that you're like, oh, my God, I got to see Deion. It's must-see TV. With Belichick, and that's it. My interest in him is about football. I don't care about his personal life. I don't care about what other people seem to care about, the relationship. I don't give a damn about that, and I want it put aside because it's irrelevant. I care about Bill Belichick, the football coach, and what he's doing in North Carolina. Bill Belichick has made trips to high schools, including the one my son goes to recruit his friends. And it's like, oh, my God, Bill Belichick is in the lobby waiting to see Tommy. And come on now. This guy's a god among coaches of any sport in the latter part of the 20th and into the 21st century. So I got great interest in it.
Yeah. Bill Belichick is likely the greatest NFL coach of all time. And if he's not, if you've got somebody else, Bill Belichick is on the short list. And then, I don't care about the Bell at the moment. And then he couldn't get a job in the NFL. He was sitting out there. He was applying for jobs. He went to interviews. He couldn't get a job in the NFL. So he went to college and he went to North Carolina. And now we're going to be able to see if he is truly a miracle worker, because North Carolina's football program, it's okay. But in the ACC, it's not Clemson. It's not Florida State. I'm not sure it's SMU. So what is the number? And you think about the same thing that I do. What is the number where you say, wow, he's a genius here too? Is it 8 wins? Is it 9 wins? Is it 10 wins? Is that possible? And I believe he's the biggest story, as you do. I believe, at least at the beginning of the year, he's the biggest story in college football. And I felt the same way about Deion 2 years ago. These are guys from another milieu, right? They're pro guys. They're coming into college. It's entirely different. How good are they, and how good are they right away? And that's what I want to see. And I think you and I are aligned on this one.
Yeah, it'll be exciting to see. Must-see TV, at least at the beginning. That's it. We're done. Back to you.